Welcome to The Explainer. So let's just get right into it, shall we? If you feel like you're constantly broke no matter how hard you try, well, you're not alone. We've all heard the standard budgeting advice handed down by financial gurus, right? But here's the hard truth. What if I told you that the very advice meant to make you wealthy is actually the thing keeping you stuck? Yeah, seriously. It's designed for people who already have money, and it is systematically failing low to middle income earners. If you're trying to build wealth from the ground up, the traditional rules are practically rigged against you.
Now, think about this for a second. Are you earning around 25,000 rupees a month and constantly hitting absolute zero before your next paycheck? I really need you to hear this. You are not bad with money. Nope. The problem is not your willpower, and it's definitely not a lack of discipline. It's the financial blueprint you're trying to follow. You see, trying to use high-income advice on an entry-level salary is kind of like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just creates friction, frustration, and honestly, a whole lot of failure. Let's break down exactly why this super common money mistake is the exact thing keeping you stuck.
Section 1, the budgeting trap. Why 50-30-20 is a complete myth for you.
Okay, we absolutely have to talk about the universally accepted 50-30-20 rule. You see it everywhere, right? 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings. It sounds so beautifully simple, but for entry-level earners, this rule isn't just difficult, it's mathematically impossible. Think about it. Under this rule, 50% of a 25,000 rupee salary is just 12,500 rupees. That tiny bucket is supposed to cover rent, groceries, transport, and utilities. Let's be real about the cost of living in any modern city today. A basic room rent or PG is going to be around 8,000 rupees. Throw in 4,000 for bare minimum groceries, and boom, you're already at 12,000. That means you have exactly 500 rupees left for transport, electricity, and literally everything else you need to survive. Your needs bucket just overflows immediately.
And when your needs bucket overflows on day one, it's no wonder you feel completely stuck. According to insights from Center Wealth, failing at this impossible math triggers some massive psychological barriers. First off, there's just this sheer overwhelm from trying to follow a complex system that simply doesn't fit your life. Then there's loss aversion. When your budget is this incredibly tight, putting money into a savings account feels like you're actively losing access to the cash you desperately need just to survive. Finally, the stress of this financial squeeze leads us directly towards seeking immediate gratification. It makes it way too easy to confuse what we want right now with what we actually need. This whole struggle is perfectly summed up by the financial platform Freed. They state, the 50-30-20 rule does not apply because there is no room to apply it. And that hits the nail right on the head. Failing at 50-30-20 is not a personal failure on your part. It's a fundamental flaw in the framework itself when you apply it to lower incomes. I mean, you literally cannot budget your way out of basic math. So if you've been beating yourself up over this, actually scratch that. Just let it go entirely. We need a brand new set of rules. Section 2, the realistic fix. Let's look at rules for lower incomes.
So let's pivot to something that actually works. The 70-20-10 framework, which was highlighted by Grip Invest. We're going to toss out the old playbook entirely and use a framework that gives you some much-needed breathing room while still forcing a really healthy savings habit. This flips the script entirely. It allocates a much more realistic 70% of your income to needs. On a 25K salary, that's 17,500 rupees. Suddenly you aren't drowning just trying to pay rent and buy groceries. The rule then suggests putting 20% towards savings and investments, and keeping a strict 10% for wants. This framework acknowledges your actual survival costs first. That way, you aren't quietly robbing your savings bucket just to keep the lights on.
Now, based on data from AssetWave and NDTV Profit, we can actually customize these percentages into a real-world breakdown. If we allocate 15,000 rupees to needs, so that covers rent, food, transport, and basic insurance, that works perfectly. Then we strictly limit wants to 2,500 rupees for things like entertainment and your digital subscriptions. That leaves a massive 7,500 rupees. That's a full 30% of your income right there for savings, building up an emergency fund, and investing in yourself. This absolutely proves that structuring a 25K salary isn't just some pipe dream. It's entirely achievable if you are ruthlessly honest about your categories. But wait, here's the absolute secret to making this whole thing actually work. You cannot, I repeat, cannot rely on saving whatever is left at the end of the month. Because let's be honest with ourselves, there is never anything left over. You have to use the pay yourself first method. It's like this. Step 1, your 25K salary hits your account. Step 2, before you pay rent, before you buy a single grocery, you immediately automate the transfer of your savings amount into a completely separate account. Step 3, when your small wants bucket is empty, you stop spending. Period. Setting up that automation just removes willpower from the equation entirely. Section 3, escaping the salary plateau. Moving beyond just the budget.
All right, here is the ultimate truth about personal finance that, frankly, nobody really likes to talk about. Optimizing your budget, that's only playing defense. If you truly want to build wealth, pinching pennies is just not a long-term strategy. Your biggest mistake isn't your spending at all. It's your baseline income. Yes, getting a grip on your expenses is step one, absolutely crucial for sure, but constantly agonizing over a 500 rupee streaming subscription isn't going to make you rich. Active wealth building requires actively increasing your earning potential.
There's this quote from a viral Reddit personal finance thread, and it is just so spot on. It says, if you earn X, the maximum you'll ever save is X. If you want to grow your savings, you got to grow your income. 10 years down the line, your real wealth is going to come from income growth, not just perfectly optimizing a 5,000 rupee savings bucket today. I mean, you can only squeeze a lemon so much before it's completely dry, right? You need to focus on getting more lemons.
So here is your exact growth blueprint if you're an entry-level earner. First things first, forget throwing your tiny savings into high-risk individual stocks right now. Just pause the aggressive investing. Instead, build a liquid emergency fund of 20,000 rupees first. Next up, buy a basic independent health insurance policy for around 500 to 800 rupees a month. That protects you from a total financial wipeout. Finally, and guys, this is the most critical step of the whole shebang, take your remaining savings and heavily invest it into upskilling. Buy that online course, learn that new software. Your highest return on investment right now isn't the stock market at all. It's making yourself way more valuable to the job market.
But hey, let's not understate the power of that budget we built earlier. If you stick to the strict discipline we just talked about, saving roughly 6,000 rupees a month, that translates to 72,000 rupees. That is how much you can realistically save in a single year on a 25K salary. For someone who felt like saving was literally impossible, having 72,000 rupees sitting right there in your bank account is a massive, life-changing psychological win. It gives you the confidence and, more importantly, the financial runway to actually take a risk and hunt for that better-paying job. So, it's time to stop agonizing over those small expenses. Fix your blueprint, automate those savings, and relentlessly focus on building your future value. You are fully capable of breaking out of this financial plateau. So, the only question left for us to ponder is this. What single skill are you going to learn this weekend to increase your baseline